Welcome, dear viewers, to our regular international discussions on Creative Society platform, which is providing an open and honest communication to all non-indifferent people in the world, where we can actually discuss all the pressing issues of our modern world. And moreover, we can actually discuss the way out of these problems, which is changing the format from consumer format to creative one. And these international discussions are created for all the people who are ready to speak up, who want to speak up, who already see and face the reality. And we would like to let you know that all of you are welcome to join these discussions. These discussions are actually made for you. And if you would like to join these discussions, you can contact us at our email, info@creativesociety.com, or you can also contact us at all of our official Creative Society social media platforms, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and so on. And now, dear viewers, we would like to draw your attention to unique international online forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, which took place on May 7th, 2022. And this forum was prepared by participants of the Creative Society, independent volunteers from around the world. And the forum was translated into 100 languages and streamed on thousands of media platforms. And during the forum, we actually discussed multiple topics and facts. And we presented all of these things. And actually, these topics and facts are not covered by mainstream media. And one very discussed topic nowadays is climate change. You can actually hear about it from every corner. And our independent volunteers have daily monitored climate and geodynamic events since the last conference, which took place on December 4th, 2021. And guess what? They showed that there hasn't been a single day without a climate disaster, which is claiming human lives. Climate news is like coverage from a war zone. And are we aware of the tremendous losses humanity has already incurred in this war? While our attention is diverted away from the only common enemy which we have, which is climate, we are losing millions of human lives.
Yes, and disasters are now happening all around the planet. For example, yesterday we've seen a major earthquake in Peru just a few days ago. There were storms in Western Europe, or we can see dust storms in Iraq, So in a very short period of time, the intensity and frequency of these disasters increased dramatically. And this is very scary. Any country, any city could be the site of the next deadly climate attack. Most people have not yet realized that the full-scale climate war against humanity is underway. A deadly war. And what is a war? This is a pain, inhumane suffering, grief, despair. This is fear. And this is what people who are already affected by the climate are experiencing. And we continue to live as if nothing happened. And if nothing is happening, and to make matters worse, we are also destroying, and we are continue destroying our ecology. But in Creative Society, this will never happen, because by combining the scientific potential, we will create technologies with help of which the climate will no longer be a threat of us. And the people will have no issues to move around the planet. They will get nothing apart of help from each other. And what is interesting nowadays, we already have numerous technologies which can fight hunger, thirst, and ensure accommodation and health. That is why it is so important that each person actively informs about building Creative Society. And now, let me introduce our respectable guest today. This is a person who already took the action and decided to speak up. It is Sami Herbawi, corporate coach and trainer from the United Arab Emirates. Welcome, Sami.
Welcome.
Sami is also an official information partner for the Global Forum. And before we start our discussion today, let us watch a fragment from the Global Forum. We are people, we want to live.
Your life is in danger. You live on a planet that is dying. The ecology that provides the conditions for your survival is almost destroyed and continues to be destroyed at a catastrophic rate. But the truth is that this cannot be stopped in the current consumerist format of society. The format of lies, cruelty, and absurdity. We are massively destroying the forest for timber, cutting down centuries-old tropical forest to plant coffee, cocoa, and soybeans because they are well paid for. We have lost as many forests in the last 100 years as we did in the previous 9,000 years. Where the forest disappears, all life dies. But in the consumerist format, we can't give up logging because the forest industry implies millions of jobs. It turns out that in order to survive, we must destroy what gives us life. The consumer society is a society of absurdity. Today, there is not even a single well-functioning system for environmental monitoring in the world. Its absence allows almost uncontrolled dumping of toxic waste into the environment. The amount of fines for environmental violations is far less than the cost of environmentally friendly technology. The money from the fines goes into the state budget. At best, they are allocated to eliminate the consequences, but the cause still remains. And why eliminate it? We can continue to fine and sell emission quotas and licenses. As long as one can make money on this, the problem will never be solved. The consumer society is a society of lies. Now, 1 in 3 people does not have access to clean drinking water. To solve the water shortage problem in the 140 countries where it is particularly needed, $114 billion a year is required. Is it a lot? Just to compare, the global annual military budget for 2020 was $1,930 billion. That is, if we give up spending on the war for just 1 year, we can provide clean drinking water for all of these countries for almost 2 decades to come. In a consumer society, fostering hostility and fear is more important than caring for one's neighbor and future generations. Consumer society is a format of inhumanity. Another serious problem of our time is that there are no accessible and safe technologies for waste disposal. Our planet has become a giant landfill. For example, less than 10% of plastic is recycled. The rest, we just throw away. Entire garbage islands have already been formed in the ocean. at the same time, the production of plastics is constantly growing. Another paradox of the consumerist format. We are destroying nature and ourselves for money. The largest pesticide manufacturers in the world derive over a third of their income from the sale of products that are a serious threat to the environment and human health, causing mutations in the body, cancer, and reproductive disorders. Because of the proven harm, most of these harmful substances are banned from use in developed countries. But in order not to lose profits, manufacturers continue to sell them to third world countries, ignoring the fact that we all live on the same planet. And air masses and sea currents do not respect political boundaries. In the consumerist format, financial interests take precedence over human life.
It is difficult to have a full picture to what extent we manage to destroy our planet and take appropriate action. Now I would like to ask you, Sami. We know that you are information partner and you have been ensuring translation of the conference into Arabic language. What motivates you to do this? And this is first question. And second question, what were the highlights? What were the information that touched you the most?
Your second question answers the first question. What motivated me is the information that have actually touched me the most. In our life, we knew there were events, we knew there are issues and problems and catastrophes around the world, but we never been so close to see the reality until I become a member of the global society, the creative society. Seeing the truth in a form of 2 minutes video leave me speechless. During the conference of last week, I was in tears. I could not even, literally, I was not able to hold my tears. And I was commanding the speakers who were able to speak. I wouldn't be able to speak after watching these scenes, because the truth is, as you said it, there's a lot of information that's not podcasted in public. There is a lot of facts that we as humans should become aware of, at least to stop pretending that we are celebrating success and we are celebrating birthdays and we are celebrating marriage parties and life is good, because maybe life is good for you right now, but it doesn't mean it's going to be good for you forever. And it's currently not good for millions of other people. So to answer your question, this was touched my heart, the fact that there is so much of knowledge and information that is not known. I wanted to contribute to the process. There is a need that I can do. There is a role for translation. Why can't I fill in this gap? And it is the energy that we put into this path. It is the awareness that we create. Today, we live in society that values the personal relationships. As close as it gets to you, it gets higher in value. For example, your brother is closer than your cousin. Your cousin is closer than your neighbor. Your neighbor is closer than the strangers who live out on the second street. The guy who live in the same city or the same village is closer to you than the guy who lives outside the village. And the person who carries the same nationality, speaks the same accent, eat the same food, is closer to you than the person who's in another nationality, another city, speaks different language. And the same thing goes with religion. The person with your religion is closer to you than the person with another religion. But the reality is this has to change. We are connected not by our blood or by our religion or by our language or by the food we eat. We are connected by our principal fact that we are human beings and we deserve to live. And our life should have the maximum value between us. I cannot say that the value of my brother's life is more important than the value of Mark's life because I meet Mark today for the first time. Absolutely not. So the amount of respect I should hold for my brother should be the same amount of respect I hold to Mark, despite of me seeing Mark today for the first time. Because we exist on the same planet, whether we meet or we have not met before. Imagine yourself living in the same house and in the second room is a brother or sister of yours, and you are just making noise and not respecting that brother or sister of yours. But you didn't know that person exists. And suddenly your brother come and said, come on, I'm not able to sleep. And what you will say? Oh, apologize. I did not know you are staying in the next room. I thought you're outside the house. I'm really sorry. Now, how about I tell everyone here, there is a neighbor living in this world right next to you. And by ignoring the fact that they are suffering, you are not respecting them. By ignoring the fact that there are problems and you need to do something about it, you are not respecting them. By deciding to just not to contribute and live a life around yourself and your loved ones and limit your loved ones by 20, 25 maximum so you can afford visiting them and during occasions, you are not respecting them. We are now in a new age where the problem in South America rings a bell in Japan instantly. And if we just wait until it rings the bell here in our own spot, we are just not being proactive and we are not being respectful to each other. So when I saw this, I said, I need to do something and I have to do something. And this something, of course, within my capability is translate the information that is, I feel and I believe is right to be translated so that more people get to know these facts and hope we have more of initiatives such as creative society initiatives more than celebrating birthdays. So, your second question, what was the information that melted my heart the most? The tornadoes that hit, especially the North American states, were worse than what I've seen in movies. I've seen movies about tornadoes, and I think the tornado that hit over the past 2 years, as well as the recent one, have actually transformed it did not come to the imagination of the directors of tornadoes movies before to make it this devastating. Today, we are looking at both icebergs melting, literally melting. Water level is rising. There is no doubt about it. And I am a firm believer that it is the energy that we produced as a humanity that causes all this disturbance around the world. It is the energy that produced, even by ignoring that this problem exists, we are producing negative energy. So for me, my heart was really melted to see these devastating moments, the earthquakes, and of course, there's so many events, war-related, what happened in many countries. That goes without saying. But imagine with all this, Mark, with all what's happening in the world, there are people today who all they care about celebrating birthdays. It hurts me when someone feels sad and angry why I'm not attending their birthday celebration. And it hurts a lot when the priority is to celebrate marriage, they celebrate a new baby born, celebrate the boy become 40 days and celebrate 7 days and then celebrate 40 days and then celebrate first year and then run the celebration over a year. I'm seeing parents today celebrating the graduation from kindergarten of their children, the graduation of primary school. There are kids around the world are not getting to go to school, and you are celebrating your kids graduating from standard school or primary school. I see this as a time where all these things has to finish. It wasn't at all part of any of our culture nor religion to keep on inventing occasions to celebrate. We can celebrate life at every second. Like I always believe to celebrate every breath you take, every morning you see, every night you get to sleep under a shelter of yours, under a safe place. That's an occasion to celebrate. I don't need to wait until 12 o'clock to jump out of joy and say, Happy New Year. I had 365 days with the chances for every second to celebrate a Happy New Year. So I think it is time for whoever is listening to this message to hopefully slow down your celebration, because just because the roof above you is not yet on top of your head, did not fall on top of your head, that doesn't mean it's not falling elsewhere in the world. Just because the weather outside is brilliant and you can't wait to go for a picnic, there are places that are already either underwater or God knows what happened to them. And you just have to be grateful to what you have. And nothing goes for granted. So I, as a person, and anyone who gets this message need to look out on how can I contribute to this message. No one is asking you to put financial support here. We are looking at that, just the awareness. If you become aware of what's happening and you said, oh, you are contributing to this conference to be a translator, how about you also, the one listening to me, can also contribute to become maybe a translator or an editor or a speaker maybe. Maybe you also need to be a speaker. So listening to this message, asking yourself what you can do from now on, just don't pretend the world surround around you, your loved ones, and your issues and your problems. There are much bigger causes to stand up for. And there is a lot of people who would use every statement you will say to revive their own hope in humanity. Because today there are millions of people, I don't know about the statistics, but millions of people who lost hope in a world called humanity. There is not a single person, Mark, and I'm sure you agree with me, that who commits suicide today while having hope in humanity. And when people lose hope in their own identity of being human, what more alert do you want in your life than this one?
This is indeed so. I fully agree. And I would also like to ask, because there are still a lot of people who are negligent, who kind of, listen, but don't hear. So what would be your kind of recommendation, or what is your view how to communicate all of these issues to the people, to touch their hearts, especially, and we've discussed this prior to this broadcast, that in poorer countries, the people, once they hear, about creative society, their heart will just go on fire. On the other hand, basically, people in Western world, where they have got all the material wealth, they are kind of not really interested to hear. So what would be your kind of recommendation or view how to motivate these people?
I would still not 100% agree with your statement when it comes for geographical separation. In every society, you will have the wealth and you will have the poor and you will have the midway. But it's about the awareness of the brain, not about the wealthy of the pocket. If your brain is aware of the responsibility, if your brain is aware to your humanity role on this planet, it's what determines what you look for. Now, I want to emphasize is that in the poor countries, all around Africa and down to maybe some of the South Asian countries, you will find in every slumdog high neighborhood a few of the rich people as well. And it's not the geographic location that determines whether people are aware of these matters and care to support a creative society movement or not. It's more about how aware are their brains. And today we have countries who had invited in wars without an invitation, just overnight start a war in a country. And this war can expand to become bigger on bigger scale. So the fact that we are living in Europe today or in Asia or in US or in any place doesn't mean we are safe. A few days ago, there was a shooting in a school full with kids. Someone was shooting in the mall in one of the states. So Mark, I need to emphasize on this, the place where we live, whether it's west, east, north, or south, has nothing to impact whether people respond to creative society positively, get excited about it. Because what is the point if millions of people got excited about creative society, none of them stop the consumable behavior at their own level? Let me give you an example. I am surrounded with friends from the Philippines. I have so many friends from the Philippines. If I will tell you how much money spent on birthday celebrations, I'm telling you, you will be amazed. It's like equal to how much countries are spending on the war zone at this moment. People spend so much money on buying gifts and expenses events and wanted to celebrate in one way or the other. And again, these parties are a source of income for other people. So what I want to conclude with is that it's not about being rich or being poor, being in a place that is located in a particular area around the world. It's about you. Whoever you are listening and hearing my message, you are a human being, whether you like it or not. It's not a choice to decide not to be a human being. You are a human being. It's a tagline. It's attached to you. This is who you are. Are you going to live up to it? Or pretend you are not? Are you going to live like all life around me and me and me only? Or you are going to pretend to realize that, no, I'm part of the big picture? Are you going to make an action or make an excuse? And if you are in a wealthy area environment society or poor area environment society, if there is nothing you can offer to creative society, at least stop the consumable behavior in your own personal life. And ask your friends, cousins, and members to stop it. And if you do that, and don't be part of any celebration or any occasion that is supporting consumable society, guess what will happen? People will ask you, where did you get all this knowledge from? And you will direct them to creative society and tell them that there are facts, information, source of information that is trustworthy, real. There is no Photoshop on all these videos. These are real videos. And if you realize this real, I'm not asking you to feel miserable about it or feel sad about it. I'm just asking you for one thing only, whoever is listening to this message now and later, stop the consumable behavior in all aspects of your life. And you will see how much clothes you can give away, and how much money you can give away, and how much time of yours you will be contributing to such events and you can give away, and how many more amazing people whom you have not met before, who can literally change your life because they have the same philosophy, and you just not allow them in your life. And once you allow them in your life, that impact will tremendously impact your life. And I'm assertive that these kind of events, driving this awareness raises the level of awareness, it raises the level of positivity, which definitely the best way to stand against the global warming, the global environmental changes.
Great. I can't agree more with you, and you've mentioned that you have cried while watching some of the videos on the forum, and I think you are not the only one. It is understandable. I think everyone who watched the forum cried, because it's really hard to watch the reality sometimes. But unfortunately, it is the truth, as hard as it may be. But we must face the reality in order to change it. And
Absolutely.
I also agree with you that there are a lot of people who are not aware. And who could contribute a lot to sharing information about creative society. And I can see we've got our second guest, Oguntola. Oguntola, welcome. I'm happy that you are here with us.
I'm also happy he is back.
Hi, Oguntola.
So the pressure is not on me. The pressure is not on me, Antola.
I'm happy. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's great. Oguntola, for our viewers, he's a project manager from Nigeria, and we have been just discussing, with Sami about our impressions from the forum, that there were really touching videos, and how important it is to show these footages that bring the truth to the people, so that these people can then take this information further and spread how important it is to move away from the consumer format of society. So Oguntola, maybe I can also ask you what parts of the forum or what topics touched your heart most?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Sami, and I think the little things I can get from your discussion, I think I gained some of it. And thank you, Mr. Narek Jacques. Yes, I wrote the forum, and I was really touched by the water crisis, about the water shortage, the quality water, and the people. You can see what really happened, the flood and the environmental changes that are there.
Yes, it is indeed the truth, the water. And we are going to see a fragment shortly that there are 2 billion of people who are suffering of lack of drinking water. And this is really one of the major issues that the humanity is facing now, and will be even more extending. So I would just propose. Let's now watch the second fragment about water, and then we can continue our discussion.
All right.
The world is already divided into those who are desperately short of water and those who still have it. According to UN data, humanity needs to wake up to the looming water crisis. And this is despite the fact that nowadays we know how to extract water even from the air and even in the most arid region. Water from fog. In one of the world's largest capitals, Lima, located in the desert, fog is collected in huge nets and used to produce drinking water. Morocco has one of the largest plants, which produces up to 6,000 liters of drinking water a day from the fog. Its operation costs practically nothing and does not require external energy. Water from the air. At Atmospheric water generators allow you to extract up to 3,000 liters of drinking water per day, and it can be increased up to 1 million liters. Can be mobile and stationary. They can operate from any energy source and in any climate, even in the arid desert. Are used for the needs of the military in some countries and well proven in emergency situations. For example, in 2010, after the Haiti earthquake, the generator produced thousands of gallons of clean water for drinking, wound washing, and surgery. Do you agree to die of thirst in the presence of such modern technology? Water desalination units. Worldwide, about 16,000 desalination plants purify ocean water from salt and turn it into fresh water. They can produce millions of gallons of fresh water a day and supply 300 million people. Innovative developments already allow desalination plants to be environmentally friendly, work even on the energy of ocean waves, and not to harm the ocean. In the water, they can retain the minerals needed for irrigation of fields and extract minerals from the remaining brine. This is ultimate cynicism and cruelty. When millions of people die of thirst in countries located on the ocean coasts, while such technologies are available. And this is the essence of the consumerist format of the society in which we live. Water retreatment. The technology has passed many tests. The water is safe even for drinking, and its quality exceeds World Health Organization standards. Meanwhile, every 2 minutes, one child dies from a disease related to contaminated water. 2 billion people in the world use drinking water sources that are contaminated with feces. By 2025, half of the world's population will live in areas with water scarcity. In just 3 years, it will be every second person. Actually, we don't have even these 3 years. Due to climate change, the situation on the planet is changing rapidly every day. And trouble comes where no one was expecting it. So, what will you personally choose? To die of thirst? Or to drink fecal water? That's the choice which you have in a consumer society. Nowadays, humanity has all the necessary technologies to provide water to drink for everyone. But in the consumerist format, trillions are spent to kill people, and saving our lives is way too expensive. By our inaction, we support this cruel, dead-end, and absurd format of the consumer society. The format in which these problems will never be solved, because our survival for the consumer society means earnings. Nowadays, profit is more important than our lives, and our deaths are just dry figures. The only way out is to change the format. The most important thing you can do now to save your life, the lives of your loved ones, and all people on the planet, is to join in informing about the creative society, because only by changing the format of society will we be able to prioritize the value of human life. We will introduce advanced technology everywhere and guarantee the protection of every person's life. Act now. Inform about the creative society.
This video is really amazing and eye-opening. On one hand, we are spending trillions of dollars on military industry and weapons and private flights to Earth's orbit and similar, let's say, absurd projects. But on the other hand, we are letting people die of thirst. Isn't this ridiculous that 2 billion people only have access to water contaminated by feces? And every 2 minutes, a child dies from a disease caused by contaminated water, while we have got such technologies available. Is this normal in a civilized and technologically advanced world? And where is our conscience? Where is our moral? Where are our values? The fact is that in consumer format, all is about money and greed, and nobody cares about human life. This has to be changed. In creative society, the first foundation is the human life, the value of human life, not on paper, but in reality. So Oguntola, please, could you tell us your opinion about the importance of access to drinking water, to quality water?
Oh, thank you. That video there is a short eye opener, and it clears all doubts, and it shows really what way this world we have been really wants to gain. Spending over trillions on some issues, some military war, and all other things that have not been able to prove the existence of a human life. Well, we can see that the water is the main important, very, very important and germane in the society for human existence. Not only human existence, even the animals, even the plants, and all others. So we are saying that water is very, very essential in every home for every living people to live on earth. And as we all know that even the earth itself is water planet, and yet people are suffer because of water. Though there are a lot of people, there are a lot of projects, there are a lot of, as you have highlighted the other time, people have used many millions greedy and every other thing. These are the things that even happen at the shore of Africa, where road tired people were in a civilization that people don't even people's life don't matters to people, and the existence of people are not even in the minds of our leaders or the people itself, in the society. And a lot of people, as you said, a lot of people die of water, even every day here in Africa. Even the child, especially the children, being contacted with diarrhea and all other diseases. And our water lakes have been polluted, the groundwater polluted due to all these chemicals. And we can see today where the chemical weapons, all these biochemical weapons are being tested every day on our soil. These are limited to fresh water for people to drink, and it caused a lot of damage even to the world at large. Also, in my own circle, I want to see a society where the water is made available, the fresh water, exactly, for our people to take in. We all know that in the history of water, the 70% of water is used by the agriculture, while the 20% is used by our industries, and only 10% of our human existence. So why is it that it's too hard for people to encourage people to get water? We are seeing that this world, I don't know. I myself, I don't know what I can categorically say it when I see people dying of water every day. And we can even see it in some estimated United Nations and every other statistic data that have told us about the death of how because of the water shortage, water stress, and all the rest. So water in our society is very, very essential. So far, we have all these initiatives that can even give us fresh water. About the global warming, not talking about all those. That means there is a solution to all this, and we are clamoring, we are advocating for water to be available, the fresh water to available for our people to take and for people to drink and for people to use. And then another thing is awareness. How much are we doing our awareness? People have not been aware of being educated on how to save water because water is very, very essential as we talk about it. So to improve some practices related to all other things that we use our water for. And then we talk about to support clean water initiatives. These are the things that are inside the world right now. And there's a day crying and every day crying. They want to see to the world at large and the society we live in to able to have water in their domain, in their communities, especially when it comes to individual homes, even our animals, the environment itself will need quality water.
Thank you so much, Oguntola, for what you just said, because that's very, very important to have access to drinking high quality water for everyone. I mean, in a creative society, that's absolutely normal, because the human life is the most important, it's the highest value. And now I would like to ask Sami. Sami, why do you think so many people talk about economy and growth, and so few talk about human life? And why do you think it is important to put human life first? And what can we do to ensure it?
You are very smart. You are asking compound questions. I also want to comment on the water matter, which is really funny when you don't see any constitution around the world assuring that the citizens must have access of clean water. There's no law that actually give you the right to have access to clean water. I cannot hire a lawyer and sue anyone for not providing me a clean access of water. It's really strange, contradicting to the fact of life being. I can hire someone to protect my life, but I cannot legally ask someone to provide me water by the rights, by my legal rights anywhere in the world, which is essential, but quite strange. Your question was related to why, when around the world, when you see the news, you see like any YouTube channel, official channel, formal channel, everyone is always highlighting on the impact of what happened around the world, be it global warming, be it wars, be it flooding or earthquakes or anything that's happening, how it is impactful on the economy. Because the economy, the news of the economy affects the market news, affects the investments move, affects the decision of what people decide to do. So whatever news you put on the formal channels, it's an alert for people if they should panic or they should not panic. Again, people are investors. And this is what happens when you are highlighting the show. When there is a catastrophe or earthquake or something, you are always talking about first aid. You're talking about supporting the people. You're talking about how many countries are contributing to help. But then slowly, the discussion, if you see, is moving to talk about the economy effect, the impact on logistics, the impact on companies' profits, because that's what the consumer society wants to know. I don't care how many people died in that earthquake. I want to make sure it's not affecting the stock of my company. Or how can I get more business to raise the stock of my company? So when in a consumable society, the more events that take place around the world, I want the news to be around what will matter to me, not what will matter to the people. And just imagine if the news will decide not to announce the impact on economy not to have analysis reports published around this part. Because by the time I have 100,000 people in casualties between death and injuries and refugees and relocation, I should focus the light on how much the world has lost by the absence of these souls and these hardworking people from that particular spot, more than how much it's gonna affect the Dow Jones market rate or this market or that market. Because again, what are we serving here? Are we saving human rights, human lives, or are we saving investors' interest? So when a place, let's say an earthquake hits a place, you see the statistics at the end of the earthquake, 2 years later. Dig now in Google and see statistics of any catastrophe around the world. You might see the number of people who died, injured, relocated. You might see the amount of cost, but you will not find any report, and I challenge this, please prove me wrong if there is. Any report talks about the intellectual value that was lost. You will not find a result of an earthquake. There are 17,000 doctors specialized in the following categories who died. You will not find someone telling you that a particular war zone have actually killed 17 scientists related to this particular specialty. You will not find job titles. It's really strange. You don't highlight how many qualified, educated people who are able to contribute to the humanity were lost. How many of the productive people were non-productive for how long? Laborers who were producing food or producing useful products were non-functional for how long, and how many productive working hours were lost. All these things are alerting, because this is more important than the effect on the economic on the economical Dow Jones or on the stock market, I would say. So I think this has to change. I think the human value has to get valued in the way it should deserve. I think every human matters, every soul matters, every life matters. So a life that was killed has the right to be highlighted in statistics wise, in ceremonies wise, in memories wise. It's not just we remember the loved ones. Why do we even have loved ones? I have to ask you a question. Why does each one of us have loved ones? Think about it. We should love each other unconditionally. Why do I have to have loved ones? So I love my son, I don't love your son? It doesn't make sense. It used to make sense before, but now I don't think it makes sense. Because today my son can survive because a doctor was able to save his life, and that doctor transmitted a part from another kid to his body. You know, these things can happen. I can have a kid surviving on someone else's heart. So today we are really one. More than before, we are one. More than before, we have no differences. More than before, you cannot not be part of my life. I cannot not be part of yours. So if I will put value to human life, and then I take the value to every single life, then I just want you to think, imagine humans around the world are stocks of a specific successful company. Every one share matters, right? In Amazon, every one share of Amazon matters. If you have one Bitcoin, just one Bitcoin, how rich you are today. So every share of humanity matters. When we look at it this way, even if we lost that share, we will vividly highlight that. We will put it in the reports. We will spot it out, and we will mark this as priority. And we will cry more on the souls that was lost than stocks that was lost, than investments that was lost, than corporates that was lost. We cry more, we blame ourselves, and we decide to correct the way we live because of 200,000 life being affected, not because of 200 points dropped in the stock market of Dow Jones or any other main stock market around the world. I'm not a financial guy, so I might use the wrong financial terms, but it's really when I look at humanity as the real value, and when I invest in supporting someone, I'm appreciating my stock. When I help in contribute in any aspect, in any word, in any spirit, in any intention, I'm investing in my stock. And just imagine if the news will focus on that. The statistics will focus on that. And then maybe the last 10 minutes of the story, we can put a attachment to the economy. Where you will see the focus will be. The focus will be around humanity. What will motivate them? What will put hope in their hearts? What will spur? And investments and money will come to that direction. Then people will be paid to be good. People will be paid to speak positive. People will be paid to motivate. I want to conclude with one thing. The crisis in Ukraine. Many countries started rewarding citizens for accommodating Ukrainians in their houses. Now, I respect that and I appreciate that. I myself have an Ukrainian brother living with me, and I'm proud of that. But my question is, was not there be homeless before Ukraine has a problem? Around the whole world, were not there homeless that were not finding shelters to stay? Why we were not rewarding people for giving them shelter? The question here has no answer. The answer is creative society, where where life matters. We will not differentiate between lives. We will not look at someone's religion, color, nationality to decide whether he deserves water or deserves a shelter. His life and my life are equal. His value and my value are equal. Therefore, at least at my own life, with the people I deal with the people whom I want to be part of my circle, you have to apply the creative society rules, and you have to make human value come first. And if each one of us does that, you can imagine what amazing society we will live in.
Thank you. This is indeed the truth, and I can't agree more. Now, in our consumer format of society, we people are merely numbers, basically, and this needs to change. And we have seen that on one hand, we have got all of these famine and hunger, and people don't have access to drinking water. On the other hand, we have got all of these technologies. Now, there is one more question I would like to bring up, and this is, imagine we have got so many organizations, charities that have got millions and billions of funds, and instead of helping, let's say, digging at wealth or let's say bringing this new technology, we can see that these organizations are bringing bottles of water, are transferring all across. How do you think that, or maybe one more point, many people claim that these new technologies are very expensive. Do you think it is really so? Are these technologies really such expensive that we have seen obtaining water from air, obtaining water from fog, desalination facilities, etc.? And if you compare it to the value of human life, how much does a human life of a celebrity cost? How much does a life of, let's say, some people you don't even know cost? So how do you think that creative society will help solving these issues? And do you think that in creative society we will indeed be able to implement all of these technologies to wipe out the famine, wipe out the thirst from Earth? This is a question for both of you. Not sure who would like to start.
First of all, you are very smart. You put compound questions. I just want to answer this question simply, and then leave the stage for my brother guest. Which is more expensive, to provide Wi-Fi connectivity around the globe, or to provide water around the globe? Is this a fair comparison? Just think about it. Can someone negotiate, even discuss the expenses or the cost of making the world connected on Wi-Fi? No one. Everybody's will, if you want contribution from every person, will put money to make sure he has Wi-Fi. If I will put a new tax across the whole world saying we are running out of Wi-Fi connectivity and we need $100 from every family to maintain Wi-Fi connectivity, I'm telling you, the poorest of the families will arrange $100 to give the authority to make sure they get connectivity continuous. Today, people are doing the impossible to pay their bills to stay connected. So the question is being on Wi-Fi all the time more important than having access to water all the time? You cannot come to a source of life like this and match it with money. There's definitely a way around it. And there's definitely a reason why we should all not even look at the cost when we look at the value of having access to clean source of water. That's my answer from my side. And back to my brother, Kayode.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sami, for that wonderful answers and the questions. Oh well, that's very true. According to my brother's answer, he said it all. He cannot value the access to water compared to what expense of what it can use to get water. Life is more, and more precious than what expense anything that is expensive or not. Life is more expensive. So we need to take care of that life. A single soul is very, very precious. Like what everybody will be saying, doing outside of taking life so serious. Many people are not taking life so serious. And life is very, very, very important. A single soul is very, very important. And I think there's nothing too expensive. In my own case, there's nothing too expensive than improving the quality of life on access to fresh water to drink. That is a suicide and there's no water. When people are committing suicide, that is a great suicidal mission. So we are committed to make sure, and I know that what Creative Society are doing, whatever is out there that can fetch us a good living, that make us to stand on our feet, is not expensive. It's an impact to life. It's an impact to sustain life. And this is what I can say, that we must put our hands together to make sure that every soul is very, very precious. Every soul. Like what Sami said the other time, about the children or this one, my own children. No, everybody will play it equally. We have the same parts. There's a time that people are changing kidneys, changing that. It is a poor person that has the kidney, and you didn't love that person before. Are you not going to love the person? Because he has what you don't have. You want to live, and that is the essence that we have to think about it. That our brothers, everybody, the single soul is precious.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Oguntola. Yes, I agree with both of you. With all of your thoughts, which you were saying that, that's even like a ridiculous question. And, the way, Sami, you put it, that, what's the cost of internet and what's the cost of access to clean drinking water? I mean, that shouldn't even be a question, right? It should be normal. And also, how Oguntola was saying that all of us are equal, and then, all souls are connected. All of us are connected. And I really liked it. And also, I would like to maybe ask both of you a last question, or maybe a message. Is there anything you would like to say to our viewers? Anything inspirational, or anything you would like to see, or any message you would like to send to them?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I want to send a message to our viewers and also to our people, our brothers, that life is very, very essential, very, very important. Let us put our hands together and make sure to sustain each person's life The life is not what we have to be debating upon. It must be a done deal. We have to sustain it. Every soul matters. And if you permit me, that is an tag. Every soul matter. And let us be in love with each other and making sure that this society we all live in this society. We have to care for ourselves. We have to live. And then also is a message that there's nothing, like I said the other time, there's nothing more expensive. There's nothing worse than life. And I want us to pass this message across, even to the world, that all these rantings here and there, we don't need it. Let us join hands together and make a good living. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. My message to the world is live happy ever after. Don't worry. Don't struggle. Don't feel sad. It's okay. Life is beautiful. Life is amazing. But remember that you have a role to play. So become aware while you are living your life, while you are happy living after, while you are celebrating, while you are graduating, getting married, having children. Always be aware. Every day you wake up in the morning, become aware that the world is not the way it used to be. And we are coming across tough times. Scarcity of water, food, starvation, problems, war. Things can hit at any corner, at any minute, at any second. So what can I do to protect myself? So I would like to conclude with a recipe to protect yourself. The law of the universe is applicable in all of us. If you want to be protected by all the catastrophes around the world, protect yourself by connecting yourself to the rest of the world. How do you do that? If you isolate yourself by not supporting, by not contributing, by not having any financial or friends that you are supporting from all around the world, you become an isolated person. You become vulnerable for all the problems. But the minute you help one person in another country that you don't know, another person maybe in Sudan, another person in Egypt, one person in India, one person in Pakistan, just one person, find one person that you can send him little support on regular basis that makes him survive and leave everything else. You have connected to that country. You have connected yourself, your energy to that part of the world. You started to hear about their problems. You started to think about solutions. You started to talk to people about how can we help provide better water for the small village in Sudan. Is there anything I can do next year? You will come across people who are more than happy to help. But the problem is we talk to them about nitty-gritty matters. We talk to them about the hairstyle. Is it good or not? Am I good with my video or not? But we don't talk to people about things that really matters. I like to keep my hairstyle good. I like to look good all the time. I live my life to the fullest. But at the same time, I'm fully aware of what happened to my neighbor in the next room. Even if never met before, I know that this neighbor has a right on me and I need to take care of him. So we're not here asking you to feel sad and feel... I cry every time I watch the conferences, and I don't like to be there because it makes me sad. But then I use that anger and sadness and frustration to remind myself that I am living happy ever after, no matter what. I'm telling you, I'm always happy no matter what. But in the meanwhile, I know I have a role to play with individuals around the world. I want to conclude with a quick story. I was teaching one of my students in regardless the name of the subject, but I was teaching that person for a long time, a period of 3 months. And then one day I realized that this person is actually putting all the savings she has into the courses. So I decided to stop charging, and I continued another 3 months of teaching without charges. One day she wanted to treat me, and we went she invited me to her house and to meet her husband. And over there, I noticed that there is a terrace outside the house full with trees, plants. And I told her, nice plants, nice combination. Did you buy them or you actually have usually plant in your house? She said, no, these are yours. I said, what do you mean by mine? She said, remember when you were charging me for the classes and I was paying for you and then you stopped charging me? I said, yes. She said, the money that I stopped paying you, I bought plants with it. And I started water these plants and they grow. So the money that I was supposed to pay you is now growing as a trees. Now that gave me goosebumps. I was about to go in tears because whoever is listening to this message, you know what this lady did? She made my money live forever. She put it in a plants. She put it in a recycled process, universal recycled process. If you open a well in any country, if you provide a sustainable source of water in any country, you will live forever because you made a source of water run in people's body forever. This is the law of universe. No one can change it. The environment, climate change, the world can change, but the universe law doesn't change. If I'm able to create a sustainable message, positive message, sustainable source of water, sustainable advice to my friends, changing the bad habits to good habits, we can change this world.
Thank you, Sami. This was so touching. And thank you, Oguntola. It's indeed flames. It causes flames in the heart. So it's so touching. So I fully agree, and I can't agree more, as you've mentioned about the unity. And the unity of people, this is what creative society is based. We people need to unite around one common idea. And then there's no power on earth that could disrupt our intention. This is what I like. And also, once we manage to build creative society, we will have enough times to not only to start asking these vital questions, why we are here, what's the purpose of our life, but also finding answers. And this is the beauty of, one of the aims of creative society. And yes, dear viewers, we are coming to the end of our today's discussion. And we've heard from our guests that the issues we've got in our society today are severe. And these issues will sooner or later impact every one of you, every one of us. And relying on organizations and governments to solve these for us doesn't seem to make any sense, because they've had enough time to prove us that they can deal with it. But despite of billions spent on green energies, improvement on ecology, financing thousands of different organizations and charities, we can see with our own eyes that the threats connected with deforestation, waste, lack of drinking water, even with climate and energy reliability are becoming more serious and impact more and more people around the planet every day. We need to understand that unless we start to take action right now, at this moment, just like our dear guests did today, tomorrow our life and the life of all of the people will become more difficult. We do not need to sacrifice our lives for this, right, Gabi?
Yes, thank you, Marek. And maybe you are now asking yourself, what can you do? And it's actually very, very simple and very easy. And you can start from little steps. Then they don't require a lot of time and almost no effort. And all you need to do is just tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell your family members, even tell people you don't know about this real change or chance to change everything. And because why is that? Because now actually millions of people, they are getting together, they're actively acting, and we can actually see great results. You can see the results even now because of these international discussions. They are so amazing. They're providing this open and honest platform where people can talk and discuss how to improve the world we live in, how to actually have a future for ourselves and for our children. And now imagine that if billions of people start talking that they want to live in a world where there's peace, if there's enough resources resources for everyone, where all the technology which we already have, we saw in the video, we already have, and we have much more than that. We haven't even, shown, but you can actually look at a forum, Global Crisis, where people we want to live, and you will see that we have so many technologies already, and all of these technologies will be available for everyone in creative society. And, the time has come to stop being passive and start talking in active position. Stop being silent, please. And after all, there is no such power that could stop this from happening. It's us, it's people. If we unite, everything is possible. And if you get inspired, and if you would like to do more, if you would like to, for instance, join these international discussions and also talk with, like our great guests already talked today, and, they were amazing, you can write us at info@creativesociety.com. You can also write us your feedbacks at info@creativesociety.com. You can actually make a video or just write a letter. It's simple. Or you can go to any of our official social media platforms. Again, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all of them. You can just write a message, and, there will be definitely somebody getting in touch with you, and you can be part of these great international discussions of this great team of Creative Society. So we would be happy to hear from you, and we see you at the next international discussions. Thank you so much, dear guests.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Do you know that people stopped being silent? International discussions.
The truth is that when it comes to migrations and refugees, it is a business.
I saw the market where the children selling out openly.
4 days we were facing the sniper shot us and the bullets above our heads.
If we do not address such issues like human trafficking, tomorrow it could be you, tomorrow it could be me.
Politics is driving the science, not the science driving the politics.
Many people want us to stop to talk, but I say no. This reality can affect and can take your life anytime.
People are losing everything.
$270 trillion.
Where is the money? And where is the result?
This 12,068-year cycle is a clock cycle.
All these problems that we're facing right now, you cannot tackle alone.
Thank goodness we have the Creative Society
to choose human life over currency.
We're living in one big home, and if this big family fighting with each other, destroy walls of the home, tomorrow we will find ourselves in the streets without a roof, without the families.
From every corner, we can actually hear that it is not economically beneficial. But the question is, economically, it is not beneficial for whom? Isn't beneficial for us people to save our own lives?
We need to bring together all of the intellect, all to the science, all of the people that can actually do something.
I think that the members of Creative Society are the new and real superheroes.
These people already understand that we should urgently act. Do you want to become part of changes? Take action. Don't be silent. You are invited to the new season of international discussions. Watch the forum, Global Crisis. We are people. We want to live. Changes begin from you.